How is it going? And thank you for tuning in this video. Today I'm here with my live reviewing experience for WWE Saturday night's main event that took place on July 9th at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. I wanted to make this video within days of it happening, but unfortunately for me, I caught under the weather, got sick, and I've pretty much been bedridden the past week. So without further ado, this video is better late than never, and without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump right into things. Now, for the first time in I don't know how long, this is the first event that I went there and got absolutely nothing. Didn't get any merch. Not even a collector's cup or anything like that. There was just nothing that really piqued my interest in terms of buying. So I'm scot-free in terms of merch, so nothing for me to personally show off. However, I did get my nieces because I did attend the show with two of my nieces as well as my girlfriend. I got them some stuff, obviously, because they want to get some things. So they did get merch. I didn't. So yeah, not much in terms of things to show off. But at the event, we pretty much just got there and just, you know, got right to our seats. Waited to the show to start, and then yeah, that's pretty much what this video is going to be. Pretty much more of a recap of the entire show than anything else. So without wasting more time, let's go ahead and right into the show, which opened up with the Intercontinental Championship being defended. Gunther, of course, defending against Ricochet. This was an excellent opening match here. Both men were out there and just their contrasts of style, where Walter's just this big, huge guy, and Ricochet obviously is a high-flying, just jump off the ropes, trying to avoid, you know, did I call him Walter already, or did I call him Gunther? I could have swore I just called him Walter a second ago, but I could have called him Gunther, but trying to avoid Gunther. And I thought it was some good back and forth action in both of them. One thing I was kind of disappointed by was I was just expecting a huge chop from Gunther. I was even hyping up to my girlfriend, like, listen, when he chops this dude, you're going to hear this thing echo everywhere. And fortunately, in a way, he did hit a chop, but it's kind of more like a minor chop that he was like reversing Ricochet, doing something into a chop. So, you know, I didn't get that big, loud thud chop I was hoping for in the match, but nonetheless, Ricochet and Gunther put on just as equally as good of a match as they had on SmackDown and TV over the last, you know, few months or so. So, yeah, fun stuff nonetheless. Ludwig Kaiser, by the way, does an excellent stuff as manager. I thought he was doing excellent stuff out ringside, playing to the crowd and hyping up Gunther and whatnot. So, yeah, really fun way to open the show. Even my nieces were losing their stuff at Ricochet because, you know, he does, like, you know, backflips and lands on his feet and whatnot. They were losing it. So, the reactions alone were pretty much worth the price of admission for the entire show, if you ask me. So, yeah, really fun stuff with Ricochet and Gunther. Gunther ends up hitting a huge dropkick in the corner, following up with a powerbomb for the 1-2-3 on the Ricochet. So, yeah, real fun stuff. A lot of great near falls as well. Ricochet got some 2.9 counts on Gunther. Was going for the Phoenix Splash in the 630 handful of times when Gunther got out of the way. So, yeah, really good opening match between both of them, and a really fun way to start the show. Following that, we had a triple threat match between Lacey Evans, Raquel Rodriguez, and Shayna Baszler. Of course, you know, Lacey Evans comes out first, and she gets a promo. Pretty much bash everyone. Pretty much what she's been doing on TV lately, calling people fat. Actually, almost picked a fight with somebody in the crowd. Like, she was like egging someone to actually come in and like fight her. It was like, she seemed like she was actually serious too. So she's really into her current heel work, and I'll give her props to that. In terms of the actual match itself, even though it was a triple threat, it was mainly just one-on-one. The match started off as three-way, then like Lacey would get out of the ringside, and then, you know, Shayna and Raquel would kind of chase her, and then Lacey would play it to where she would play like Shayna attacking the Raquel, and then she would sneak out and then beat her Raquel versus Shayna, and then, you know, Lacey would get in the ring and be Lacey versus Raquel. It pretty much had that formula for the most part, and it wasn't a bad match by any means. It was enjoyable. But it's like the triple threat match. I want to see all three of you going out and not just going back and forth and switching out, you know, one-on-one matches. So was what it was, nothing spectacular. The crowd was actually very behind Raquel Rodriguez. I was actually kind of surprised how over she was. You know, I haven't really been watching SmackDown as much as I would like to. You know, just wrestling in general, really, I haven't been watching as much as I'd like to, just because just not a whole lot going on in terms of interest. So I haven't really seen her progress as a character, and I kind of just assumed she wasn't working out. I guess that's just my assumption, but live, yeah, she was over. People were really into her, and she definitely was the crowd favorite in this match, and it was a solid match overall. When it came down to it, Raquel Rodriguez to get the win, hitting the 1-hour powerbomb on Shayna Baszler, I believe, for the 1-2-3. So Raquel Rodriguez gets the win in this triple threat match. Fun match overall, like I said. Just wasn't a fan of the one-on-one formula in a triple threat match. Preceding that, we had Happy Corbin coming out, cutting promo, pretty much cutting on the city, saying how he's wealthy, he's doing fine, that pretty much he'll fight anybody from Sacramento, and they have to be from Sacramento. So putting out an open challenge, which is accepted by Drew Gulak, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, dude, you're from Philadelphia, you have nothing to do with Sacramento. And of course comes out and he cuts a promo saying, conveniently enough, His great-grandfather was born in Sacramento. His grandfather was born in Sacramento. And of course, his father was born in Sacramento. So he claims 3 generations of Gulaks were born in Sacramento, which obviously is bullshit. But whatever, the crowd was eating it up. And he was actually selling out of the crowd to the point where he said something like, when I say Gulak, you say Sacktown, or when I say Goo, you say, I don't fucking know. It was some chant to that extent where he wanted us to indulge Sacramento into Gulak. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but the crowd was buying it. The crowd was behind Drew Gulak, and they actually had a pretty solid match overall. Nothing to complain about. A lot of transitioning wrestling in terms of just Gulak out wrestling Corbin, and Corbin just kind of being like, "What the hell is going on?" You know, it's like matches where the heel's like, "What? I don't know what he's doing." You know, that's kind of what we got from Corbin and Gulak in this match. Corbin doing some heel tactics, doing whatever he can to get the upper hand on Gulak. And surprised enough to me, Corbin gets a victory over Gulak. Well, I'm surprised that Corbin won, but Corbin won via cheating. He was holding on the ropes and kind of got a sneaky win over Gulak, and I thought that was kind of surprising. I thought Corbin would just beat Gulak clean of the sheet. So for them to kind of protect Gulak, I thought was kind of surprising. So I liked it though. I like to finish with Corbin using the ropes and using that to his advantage to win. So Gulak, Corbin, entertaining match for the most part. And yeah, nothing much to say about that. And from there on, we had the Viking Raiders taking on Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Nothing much here to say about the match. However, I was surprised. I thought this would be a total squash. I thought this would be the Viking Raiders just destroying Jinder and Shanky. And it actually was a pretty competitive match. It was pretty evenly back and forth for the most part. Raiders obviously were getting more of an upper hand, but, you know, Shanky, who was over to my surprise. I didn't think anyone cared about the Shanky dance crap, but people were eating it up. People were wanting Shanky to dance, and he was dancing, and he was vibing. The crowd was actually, like I said, you know, enjoying what he was putting up. And like I said, it was a decent little, you know, 5-6 minute match between both teams. Obviously, Viking Raiders get the upper hand, get the win after hitting their finish on, I believe it was Jinder Mahal for the victory. So yeah, I mean, nothing bad, but nothing really much to say about that. And then we go to the final match before intermission, which was a triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Liv Morgan defending against Ronda, Rousey, and Natalya. I did like the our pre-match interview with Natalya, how she's saying that, you know, because she injured Ronda, that Liv should thank her. Pretty much what we've seen on SmackDown leading to their match they had this past Friday. That's pretty much what we saw in terms of Natalya saying, "Oh, you should be thanking me, I'm the reason the champion," blah blah blah, stuff like that. And yeah, the match happens. Ronda, huge ovation at this point, probably the loudest ovation, which, by the way, this crowd was super hot. I'd say one thing about this show, which I will say is probably one of the better house shows I've been to. This was a really fun show overall, but the crowd was red hot. It was a really full house too, I believe. I think there was supposed to be like 8,000 tickets, and I think there was like 7,800 people total. So it was almost a sellout for a house show, which is very surprising to say the least. You know, for a house show, to get that many people there. So it was very packed house. It was a very full show. So the crowd was really red hot, especially for the opening match. The opening match, everyone was losing their mind for every spot, and the momentum pretty much kept out throughout the entire show, I felt like. So up to this point, the crowd was still really hot. So yeah, they were losing their minds for Ronda, and she definitely was a star in this match people wanted to see. But people were loving Liv Morgan as well. She was definitely the second most over person. Natalya, not so much, but yeah, again, this triple threat, same formula as the other one. You kind of just had one person going at it. You know, Ronda would take out Liv, so it'd be Ronda and Natalya going on for a good little while until Liv got back involved, and be like Liv and Natalya going on for a while, then it'd be, you know, Ronda and Liv. So that's pretty much the basic formula, but it was a really fun match overall. I wouldn't have mind seeing this at SummerSlam. I know they're doing Liv versus Ronda at SummerSlam, but this was another really good match, and this is probably, I wouldn't say match of the night, but at this point, probably the second best match behind the opener. But yeah, this was really enjoyable. Finish came, which, you know, was actually kind of all over social media that week, where Ronda gets knocked out of the ring, and Liv hits her finish on Natalya, pins Natalya 1, 2, 3, and immediately Natalya sprung up. Like, as soon as the 3 counted, she sprung up, pointed at Liv. I have no idea what she yelled at her. Apparently Natalya claims she was thanking her, but from my view, it looked like she was like, it's like, "Hey, fuck you," and like walked out. Like, that's how it came across from where I was sitting. But yeah, Really fun match overall. Very confusing finish, because I remember what happened. Like, I was thinking, like, oh shit, did something like happen that wasn't supposed to happen? I was happy to talk about it. I was gonna tweet about it, but I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy the show. If something comes out of it, something comes out of it. But as of right now, obviously nothing really has come out of it, so it's really looked like more of nothing than anything. But yeah, that was a pretty enjoyable triple threat match. Really enjoyed it, and like I said, the crowd was really happy to see Ronda. And at this point, intermission happened. You know, you got 10-15 minutes to go out, get some merch, get some food, go to the bathroom, whatever. And coming back from intermission, we had Humberto coming out, cutting a promo, pretty much cutting the exact promo Happy Corbin cut earlier, cutting on the city. Open challenge, but I'm not really too sure if he did like an open challenge where it had to be someone from Sacramento or just someone in Sacramento. So the wording there got kind of trippy, but the way it was implied, to me, it came across like he was doing exactly what Happy Corbin did. It's like, oh, someone from Sacramento has to open the challenge. But Madcap Moss comes out, accepts the open challenge, doesn't say anything, he just accepts the open challenge. So I guess the from or in Sacramento part doesn't really matter. But yeah, Humberto versus Madcap Moss. God, I keep wanting to say Mad Lap or something like that. Just make him Riddick Moss again. There's no reason for the Madcap anymore, but it is what it is. Madcap Moss. I will say I've been impressed with him, even though I haven't really ever cared for him. I've always thought he had some type of potential, but he's always screwed up in some ways by either injuring people or just, I don't know, being a crappy gimmick, I guess. But I will say, since the split from Corbin, he has been improving, and it has been working. If they do want to strap a rocket to this guy, I wouldn't mind him seeing him being pushed personally. But yeah, him, Humberto, solid match. I will say this, there's nothing bad about it whatsoever, but it's one of those matches where you're just watching it and like you cannot pay attention to it because you could care any less, you know, or you couldn't care any less about the match. It's just no one cared, and that's what it came down to. Solid match, it was just a match. That's all it was. It came down to the end of it. Madcap Moss got the victory over Humberto, so it was what it was. No one cared, but just a fine match nonetheless. Preceding that, we had another triple threat match, the final triple threat match of the evening. 3 triple threat matches in one show, man. This might as well have been Saturday night's main event triple threat edition. But this time it was for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. The Usos defending against the New Day, as well as the Brawling Brutes of Sheamus and Butch. Man, when this match was about to start, I was super excited. Obviously, everyone's losing their minds. Usos, huge ovation. Everyone was just on their feet anticipating the Usos. I'm not sure if they had the loudest ovation at this point, but they're definitely up there with Ronda in terms of loudest pop at this point. Everyone was loving the Usos. But when it came down to it, this match, like, just nothing happened. Like, I remember the first 5 minutes, literally nothing happened. They were all just standing around the ring. I remember one point, some guy even yelled, like, just do something. Like, no one was doing anything for the longest time for no reason. So everyone was just standing around, taunting each other. I remember at one point, Kofi was twerking in the ring. But honestly, besides that, I don't really remember anything because it was just a whole bunch of nothing. It just was a lot of slow spots. I mean, granted, the crowd would react to the stuff they were doing, but it was more like, I'm going to do a dive. Oh, the crowd reacted, so let's not do anything for 5 minutes. Then we'll do another spot, you know, like down the line. It was very disappointing. I'll say that. This match was very disappointing to me. I was very excited for it because I thought it'd be an awesome triple threat, but when it came down to it, it just seemed like everyone wanted to just hang out and not really do a whole bunch of stuff. So, was what it was. Disappointing match, like I said. There was some good stuff towards the end. You know, that's when they started kicking into like second gear, it seemed like, towards the end, but it looked like it never got past second gear, in my opinion. Butch was going crazy. He was probably the most entertaining part in the match, honestly. Just him going absolutely crazy. I know some people don't like the character, but honestly, I'm loving the Butch stuff. I love him going absolutely crazy, and Sheamus having to hold him back. I love it. I honestly do. And, yeah, just a very underwhelming, disappointing match. Usos got the victory after hitting a double super kick on Kofi Kingston, which led to the 1D and one and done, and it was done after that. So the Usos retained the tag team titles. Like I said, just very underwhelming, very disappointing. I was very excited for this match. I thought it'd be kick-ass, a whole bunch of action, and it was just a whole lot of nothing. So it is what it is. What can you do? And then, of course, to go to the main event, which was for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Drew McIntyre, and hell of a main event we had here. Honestly, I would say this is up there with their Survivor Series match from 2020. This was a great main event. It was like 20-25 minutes of them just beating the hell out of each other. Yeah, there were some slow moments where they weren't really doing a whole bunch of stuff, but you know, it picked up. It picked up. It wasn't like the tag title match where they just did nothing and did nothing the entire match. It did nothing for a little while. They get the crowd, you know, wanting more, and then once, you know, they picked up the crowd, you know, they kind of slowed down a bit to anticipate the crowd to want some more again. That's how it felt like, and it worked. I felt like there wasn't a point where the crowd's like, oh my god, this is boring. It's kind of like, oh my god, anticipating what's gonna happen next, you know. So very exciting match. A lot of great false finishes. Roman Reigns had a huge spear at one point for a 2.9 count. McIntyre kicked out, which I was very surprised by. I thought for sure when Roman Reigns the first spear it was one and done, but McIntyre kicked out. McIntyre for the Claymore a handful of times. We went for it. Roman Reigns countered it. You know, he countered one into Superman punch, and then towards the end he countered one final one into the second spear, which would actually be the third and final spear of the match. But yeah, a lot of great stuff. Roman Reigns had him in the guillotine at one point, which I thought was going to be the finish, but McIntyre fell out of it. You know, flipped him inside out of it to get out of it. Just a lot of great anticipation in this match, and I thought McIntyre and Reigns definitely tore the house down and delivered a fantastic main event for the live crowd. And yeah, it was great stuff. Like I said, Roman Reigns with a victory after countering another Claymore into the second spear for the 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship. So yeah, great stuff with McIntyre. And of course, afterwards, Roman Reigns does what he has been doing lately after live events, and he cuts a promo. Talks about how it's a full house, how there was 7,500 people there. Like I said, you know, very big number for a house show and for WWE standards today. Very, very big number. And he just pretty much talked about how, you know, he's reduced to a lighter role, and that every time he's somewhere, it's because he wants to be there now. And, you know, it's pretty much, like I said, the exact promo he's been cutting at any live event he's been at lately, which has been many. He's very, very selective. And that house show was, my live event was actually the only live event he did that weekend. There was one SmackDown show the next night, but it wasn't on that show. So he chose to do that house for a reason, because it did a good number. So yeah, great Roman Reigns promo afterwards, thanks the crowd, and sends everyone home happy, which was great. Like, he starts it in characters like, Sacramento, acknowledge me. Then he transitions it nicely into, you know, like a face promo. So the way Roman Reigns is right now, he's absolutely untouchable in terms of his character. This guy is top notch, and yeah, Roman Reigns is the king of the wrestling world. He really is. He really is truly on top. And that was a great way to kick off, to cap off a great live event. Honestly, this was a really fun show. Like I said earlier, one of the better live events I've probably been to. This was just top to bottom, very fun. The crowd was very into it. Like I said, very full crowd for the most part as well. Almost the entire arena, besides the upper part, because the upper part was sealed off, was taped off. But pretty much the entire arena was full, which was why surprising for a house show. And yeah, it was just, the card itself was very good. There wasn't really a bad match, like I said, besides the tag team title match, which I really wasn't into. Besides that, I think every match for the most part was at least fun, enjoyable. So great house show. Like I said, one of the best ones I've been to. Really enjoyed it, especially, like I said, going with my girlfriend and my nieces. Their reactions alone were definitely worth the price of admission. So yeah, that definitely was worth it, to say the least. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. Until I see you guys next time, I'll see you guys, and thank you guys for watching the video.